Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. You may have noticed an absence, maybe you didn't, why would you have? If you did, it's because I got a Steam Deck for Christmas. I mentioned at the end of last year that when I hit 1,000 subscribers I was going to treat myself to a Steam Deck. I hit that number and then I just didn't buy one because my not so subtle husband led me to believe that potentially I was getting one for Christmas. Not subtle, but very generous, and he did indeed. I will put the spec that he purchased on the screen right now because I don't know off the top of my head. I actually haven't even looked at what this is, but I do know that it's got more storage than the one I was going to buy myself, so that's really nice. I've also put in an additional SD card, and I mean, it just feels like I've just got an endless amount of storage in this compared to my Switch. So a couple of things up front. I have not stopped playing this since Christmas Day. I've not picked up my Switch at all. A couple of people have messaged me saying, have you been playing this? Have you been playing that? I just bought Fae Farm just before Christmas because someone told me, Laura, there was an amazing deal. It was like a £40 game. It was on my wish list. And then I don't know if they've got it right now, but Argos were doing 2 for £20 on games. And Fae Farm was one of those games. So I bought exactly the same game twice, one for me and one for my daughter. FYI, really enjoying that. We'll get to that in another video. But what I've really been playing is this. The reason that I wanted the Steam Deck in the first place was basically because I'm a Mac user. So I have PlayStation and Switch, but then I have a Mac, and that really limits the games that I can play that aren't for console. Most games that are for console, I can either play on one of those other two consoles. I also do like to be able to play something on handheld, so there are games that if it's available on multiple consoles, I'd rather get it on the Switch, which I am the first one to hold my hands up and say that was the mistake of a lifetime with Hogwarts, because as soon as I started playing it, I was like, this is terrible. The graphics are so distracting. I talked about this when I made the Hogwarts video before Christmas, but the graphics were so distracting, I just never really played it. I'm going to get into it a little bit more. I did force myself through the tutorial phase for that video, and it did kind of like grab me a little bit. But if I'd played it on any other console, the graphics would have been absolutely immense. I've been playing some things on this, and I literally was saying to my husband, who doesn't care at all, not a gamer, and I was like, just look, there's like solar flare on the water of this screen in a handheld game. This is incredible, incredible. I don't think I appreciated how lackluster the Switch graphics were, because I don't tend to care that much about graphics, or so I thought, until I played on this. What I've been playing most of all, which has been shocking to me, because there were a list of things that I really wanted to play. Fields of Mystria was so high up on that list, and I can't tell you how disappointed I've been. We'll get into this in another video, but that was like, I can't wait to play this game that I can't play. It was really, I was so driven by all of these games people were playing that were in either early access or just hadn't come to Switch yet. I was so excited to play these games because everyone's talking about them. I might not be a cozy gamer. I might not. What I have been playing most, almost non-stop, is Jurassic World Evolution. And the graphics on this game in my handheld gaming experience have just been out of this world. Like, better than playing on the PlayStation 4. For that alone, even if I had only played that game on it, because you can't get it on the Switch, you can't get it on Mac. I've played occasionally on my son's PS5, but I really wanted to be able to get into it kind of like while I'm watching TV at night. And this has been an absolute dream. It's just one of those games that I can, it's like a kind of like a strategy tycoon kind of game, but at the hours and hours, I think I've got 70 hours in this game already, which is bananas. But that's by the by. I just kind of wanted to tell you, I've been playing this a lot, and they are Fields of Mystria and Jurassic World Evolution were the two games that I've been playing. Jurassic World definitely more than the other. I also did download Sims 4 just because I wanted to see what it would be like. It's free. Obviously, it's kind of a pointless game without all of the additional add-ons and stuff. And I already have those add-ons with my Mac, so I wasn't planning on playing it long-term this way. But I thought it might be interesting to see how well it plays, because I can't have it downloaded on my Mac all the time. I edit so many videos on my Mac. I cannot run such a huge game on the Mac that I have with the storage that it has, because it just eats up so much space, and I need that space to edit videos and to have the video files. So I just can't have it downloaded all of the time, which is kind of disappointing because I love The Sims. I'm like a lifelong fan. I share a birthday with The Sims. We are we are connected. And I really would like to make some more Sims videos this year, but it's just such a difficult game, which is why I ended up making Sims 2 videos. But I thought it might be interesting. I'll download it on the Steam Deck, see what it's like. I cannot play that game handheld. However, it did teach me a lot about the controls. So if you want to buy this game and you're kind of like going from the Switch to this, you can download things directly from Steam. They play perfectly like a console. Like, it's very, very straightforward. But if you want to get into games that aren't really designed for the Switch, for the Steam Deck, if they aren't really console joystick kind of games, you can configure every single button on this. And there are so many buttons. So obviously, you've got the regular joypad here. You've got your Joy-Cons, you've got your letter buttons. I don't know what the correct terms are for all of these things. You've then got these, which are like, they're like touchpads, but they're also... like you can use them as cursor, like as a, what's it called on your MacBook? You know what I mean? You know, like a trackpad. They're like trackpads, but they've also got like push, like little vibration clickiness as well. Then what else? And we've got two little buttons down here, a Steam button and a little options button. Then at the top, you've got your regular left and right, and then your back, left and right. And then at the back, you've got these extra buttons. So while you're playing, you've got these. So far, no games that I play need these buttons. But when you get into games that really aren't designed to be played with a joystick, like, for example, The Sims, it was just too complicated for me to know what button did what, to figure out what I wanted each of the buttons to do, like which one do I want to be the mouse cursor, which one do I want it. There's so many things to configure that I didn't want to put the time in to do that. But it's definitely something that if there was a game that I absolutely loved and it just wasn't playing quite the way I wanted it to, it's nice to know that I could go in and reconfigure the settings. So, I actually would prefer the B button does this. I tell you one thing, now I'm saying it, that I actually might do, because I really struggle to go back and forth between the PlayStation controllers and the Switch controllers, because I'll have like a spell of playing loads of PlayStation games. And then I go back to my Switch and I'm constantly pressing B instead of A and A instead of B. What I might do on this is with the games that I play the most, I might reconfigure so that it's the same as the Switch controllers, so that when I do flip back to the Switch, it's not a difficulty to get back into the flow, you know? So it is nice to be able to do those things. Another thing that I was a little bit concerned about from reviews that I'd watched previously was the weight of this. So just to show you because this is definitely, like, for me, this was 100% in comparison to the Switch. Like, this was, instead of me buying a gaming PC, but it is a direct competitor for the Switch for me, because this is what I play the most. So it's massive. The actual screen itself, I think the whole thing is like 1.5 times the size, like the footprint of this. But the screen, I don't know, what would we say? It doesn't feel like enormous. It may be like 20% bigger, 10% even. It's not hugely different screen size. In fact, this might be the same size as the OLED. In terms of weight, it is quite a bit heavier, but it's not as difficult to hold as some of the reviews that I'd seen. Some people were saying like, oh, you know, I have to take breaks from it. And obviously that's going to depend on the person. But I was really prepared for that. I was prepared for it to be difficult to hold for long periods of time. That has not been my experience at all. I have found that this is really ergonomically easy to hold. If anything, it's easier to hold than the Switch for me. I like it fits into my hands a little bit better. Where these are is actually nicer than where these are. Like, your controllers are at the top, so I feel like you get your hand around it a little bit better. It doesn't, I'm not getting like any kind of hand cramp or anything. It like really kind of hugs my hand. However, because I was prepared for it to be difficult to hold for long periods of time, I was initially kind of propping it up on a cushion, but I feel like I do that with my Switch as well, just for comfort. So just something to bear in mind. I had seen a lot of people mention that, and that hasn't been my experience. Second of all, lots of people mention the noise. Now, obviously this is going to depend on the game that you're playing, but I would have thought Jurassic World Evolution, especially with the graphics, it's a relatively big game, and I played The Sims 4 a little as well. Neither of those were like kicking the fan in to be so loud that I was really noticing it any more than the Switch. People were saying like, oh, I wouldn't want to play this on a plane. Again, not my experience. Give me a minute. Maybe I'll feel differently depending on the game that I'm playing. But those two things were things that were making me a little bit nervous. They were making me think, well, maybe I'll play this docked a little bit more. But no, I have not had any of those things be a negative. The one thing that I think is true that I've seen lots of people talk about is the battery life. And again, this is going to depend on the game, but the battery life is a little bit tricky. I also needed to put something in the setting so that it told me when it's going to run out of battery, because the first time I played it, just wasn't thinking. I was used to my Switch giving me a little alert, a couple of alerts that I would ignore before it died. But this just died. And then it just powered down, nothing was saved, and that was kind of a bit of a sharp shock for me, because that's not my experience with the Switch. Another thing that I'm used to doing with the Switch, like I never turn off any technology. Everything goes on sleep mode, always. And so with my Switch, I'll just press the little button at the top. It puts it to sleep. I put it on the side. I expect the same amount of charge to be available to me when I pick it up. That was not the case with this. When I pressed that little top button, it kind of put the screen to sleep. But then when I went to pick it up, it was dead. It needs to be put fully to sleep. There is a setting to do that. Otherwise, get it on charge. Just a couple of things that I've noticed from playing it. It's not a major issue. For the most part, this is something I'm planning on playing at home exclusively. The amount of time that I'm going to play it outside of the home is very, very small amount of time. And chances are, if I was going on a long flight, I'm going to take both of these. Because I am. I like the options. My husband will say, I take everything, like the kitchen sink if I could fit it in my bag. But yeah, lots of negatives that I'd read about it, I didn't find to be an issue. And it's just been a like for like swap, kind of, from the Switch to this has been a really easy transition. It wasn't difficult to set up. It wasn't complicated in any way. If you are just planning on downloading things from Steam, if you're just planning on downloading things from Steam and you are thinking, I'm just going to play it handheld, I'm just going to play the things that are optimized for console or for joysticks, joypads, Joy-Cons, you're not going to have a problem at all. It's not difficult in any way. I have downloaded the desktop mode. I have not done anything with this so far. So I was looking, someone was telling me the other day that there are things that you can download so you can play like different games from different places. I kind of started the process and it was a little bit overwhelming. And I was like, I've not had this for long enough. I want to play some more games that are easy and just like, I want to really get some hands-on experience of playing this like docked, playing it maybe with a keyboard, that kind of thing. And then maybe I'll enter into the world of the desktop mode and see what else I can play. For now, I'm just playing things that I've downloaded from Steam. And my experience has been really, really good. I am really, really happy with it. I also have a dock that's like a third-party dock, because the official dock is so expensive. I've got a third-party dock, which is, it just kind of like, it has a wire that comes from the back that plugs into the top here, which is where the USB-C is. That same dock works for this. So if you don't have to have multiple docks. You can just plug this in to that same dock and just kind of like leave it plugged in upside down, and then you plug it into the top. It's not like a Switch dock. In fact, if you were considering buying a Switch dock, I would recommend getting the one for the Steam Deck, because I think that there is less likelihood of you breaking it over time. You know how the one for the Switch, you slot it in? There's always the chance, like those old ones that you used to get for iPhones, where you would put the dock in and eventually that connection would become loose because you'd been a bit rough with it or it had been knocked or whatever, because it's like sturdy in the plastic. If you get the one for the Steam Deck, it's flexible. And so you just like plug it in like a wire. I would actually say get that one over the one for the Switch. But they both work exactly the same, so you only need one dock. What else? I think that's kind of everything. For my first initial experience, I'm really happy with it. I'm so pleased that I've got it. What I now want to see is, I haven't yet plugged it into my OBS to see what it's like to record with it. I haven't yet tried to connect a controller to it, although I can't see that I'm not going to be able to use my Pro controller from my Switch. I just think that's going to work because it's just a Bluetooth controller. I think you can use any Bluetooth controller. So whatever it is you've got, whether it's PlayStation, Xbox, whatever, I think that will work. I also want to try a Bluetooth keyboard and mouse, which I have anyway for my work computer. So I'm going to see all of these things. And as I do, I will vlog it to show you, you know, this is what I'm trying. This is how it works. This is how it doesn't work, for those of you who are interested in that as well. But I think for the majority of people, this is just going to be a handheld. And I thought I would give you these are my first impressions. I've had it for a couple of weeks. These are my things that I'd heard. This is my experience of those things. I know it's been rambly. It's not a super informative review, but hopefully it's useful for some of you who maybe had seen some things that were a bit like, these are things you need to worry about. I really don't think you do. I think a lot of reviews that I'd seen seemed to be aimed at a different customer. I am someone who loves my Switch and does not have access to a PC because I'm a Mac person. Mac users, this is going to be your jam, 100%. I don't know how you will feel if you've already got a gaming PC and a Switch, whether or not you're going to feel the same benefit. Whereas if you do not have access to a gaming PC, if this is like the most affordable version of a gaming PC that you can buy, I think that you will feel the same way that I do. Hopefully, anyway. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I'm going to make more Steam Deck related content this year. I'm not going to be forgoing the Switch or the PS4. We will be talking all things everything, but I'm going to have access to some games that I didn't have before, so I can hopefully review more and I can give you more demos. I definitely started this channel feeling like I was going to be more cozy, Stardew Valley, Animal Crossing, and as time has passed, I'm like, do you know, I would still consider the point and click to be a cozy game. I don't feel like it is something that is time pressured or stressful, but I am definitely more that kind of gamer. I'm going to be gaming, trying all the different games, but I am just setting your expectation that I don't know if a cozy farming sim is my perfect game. That's how I kind of like entered the world of the Switch. But the more games I play and the more PC games I now have access to, we need to play some old point and clicks, because I was raised on those games, and this is going to be, it's going to be so much fun to be able to play some games that were not available to me before. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next one. Bye!